Three, two, one. Blast off! What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the Philly Frenzy Podcast. I'm your host, Matt. As always, I'm here with my buddy Rob. What is going on, Rob?
Enjoying a nice day, man. Out here to entertain the Philly Frenzy audience, doing our midweek NFL, not only midweek, but really kind of the mid-season NFL show today. It's going to be a big one, talking a lot of stuff. Excited to get into it with you, man. So,
All right, so we're going to start the show off the way we've been starting the show off. If you like what you're hearing right now, you like what you've heard in the past, go ahead and hit that like button, the subscribe button, and go ahead and turn them noties on YouTube. Philly Frenzy Podcast, the best podcast in the Jersey area. Underground. And then you can follow me on Twitter at White Daddy Shack. You can follow Rob on Twitter at Rob Danka. And then if you're on Facebook, go ahead and hit the little search bar and type in Philly Frenzy Podcast. We'll pop up. Hit the like button. Stay in tune with us. Oh, also we're on Instagram, Philly Frenzy Podcast. A couple things coming out very soon with them. I've been working with some graphics. I'm gonna be throwing some things up there. But go ahead and hit us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and on
all the social.
Twitter, Philly Frenzy Podcast. You'll find us. So today, let's jump into the biggest thing that's going on right now in NFL. It has nothing to do with a particular move. It doesn't have anything particularly to do with a game, statistics. But let's get into Henry Ruggs. And Rob, I'm going to let you talk about this first because this is your team.
Of course, it's my team, but it's negative press. Seems to be the lead of the Raiders season right now, which is overshadowing, and rightfully so, with the stuff that John Gruden did, and now leading into this Henry Ruggs stuff. I'm disgusted. It had more information has come out yesterday and today. Henry Ruggs was driving in excess of 150 miles an hour, and his blood alcohol content, which was taken within 2 hours of the accident by the hospital, was at a .161, which is incredibly high. So I know here in New Jersey that's double the legal limit. I don't get it. It's first of all, this is a tragic loss of an innocent life that Henry Ruggs has taken, and I am presuming and honestly hoping he does face jail time for this. It's a tough situation, I feel for the friends and family of the person that was killed in this accident. This is, one of those instant losses of life that hits different. There's no reason to be driving drunk, especially in his situation. I mean, first of all, there's Uber, there's Lyft, there's 1,000 car services out there that you can access right from your damn phone. On top of the fact that NFL teams have car services for these guys to utilize if they go out drinking that will pick them up, take them to. I just don't understand why he's not the first, probably won't be the last NFL player arrested for a DUI. This is the first one that I can recall that resulted in death, which makes it even worse. But there's no excuse for this. I just it's despicable what he did. It's a tragic loss of life. I believe the Raiders did the right thing by parting ways with him. You can't have that in the NFL, let alone on your team. So that's my thoughts on the matter. It's terrible. I'm gonna let you take over from here, though.
All right, so I'm going to agree with everything you said. I'm not going to touch on it more. I believe that you hit on the key parts of the situation. Our condolences to the family of the victim. As always, let's jump from one tragedy to a tragedy for an organization with Mr. Aaron Rodgers
Yeah.
not being vaccinated. He will miss this week's game against the Kansas City Chiefs, and it looks like as long as his symptoms stay away, he will not be able to play until November 13th, which I believe is a Saturday, so he won't be reinstated until Saturday, and then not be able to play until the 14th. So you're probably looking at possibly 2 games of him not playing with Green Bay, which could be very big. I do know one stance here on my end is you do what you feel you have to do for yourself and for your family. If you feel that you are against the vaccination, then you're against the vaccination. I'm not going to question you. I just watched Max Kellerman literally destroy Aaron Rodgers because he is not vaccinated. And kind of what Matt Hasselbeck and Matt LaFleur has said, it's none of their business. You know, that think that's what's happening in the world right now is a lot of people are forgetting, you know, that the vaccination is not mandated. It does not matter if you are vaccinated or not. It is none of your business. That goes against HIPAA laws. Sorry, I don't really want to talk about this on the show because I don't want people's views being twisted and then people not liking our show because I don't like the idea of vaccination being out there if you are or you aren't. So they do have Blake Bortles flying in tonight, and it looks like they're going to be signing Blake Bortles to be a backup for first-round draft pick Jordan Love. I believe this is his first start, right? First start of his career?
As far as I'm aware, first start. It makes sense that they're flying Bortles out to sign him to back up Love. He was with the team in the preseason, so he has knowledge of the playbook. If something happens to Jordan Love, he'll be able.
Jordan Love was with the Green Bay Packers all offseason when Aaron Rodgers was holding out. So
he will miss this week against the Chiefs. And then you said he's going to be reinstated the 14th?
13th.
Which means, okay, so their next game is on the 14th against the Seahawks. So technically, I believe he'll be back for that. But if for some reason he's not, he will be back before 3 weeks from now when they play the Vikings, which is a divisional game. So that one's important. Obviously, all these games are important for them right now. With them, Arizona, Dallas, the Rams, I believe, all have only one loss. So they're fighting for the 1 seed right now in the NFC, which is the only seed with the 17 playoff system that gets a bye. So that being the number 1 seed matters.
Especially in the 17-game season.
Yeah. So they don't have, they don't have them this week against the Chiefs. The Chiefs have not looked good. So if Jordan Love can play a decent game, they still do have a shot to win this week. But if they do drop this game and the end of the season, they end up, not being the 1 seed because they have one more loss than somebody else, that could be a big factor in their ability to make, that Super Bowl run that this team is obviously trying to get to. So big news there with Green Bay, but we'll have to reassess after this weekend's game and see where they stand.
All right, so we hit the 2 big non-on-field news in the NFL.
The 2 breaking news stories in the NFL.
Let's jump to the trade deadline. We had 2 big moves. Philadelphia Eagles. We got a new corner, Kerry Vincent Jr., rookie out of LSU, traded for a 6th-round draft choice. Hopefully he comes in and actually plays all right. I'm not going to be high on him until I get to see him in midnight green. But Kerry Vincent Jr. is officially an Eagle, and we only had to trade a 6 for him. With the bigger trades, we did get Melvin Ingram to Kansas City, which we had talked about, and it seemed like it wasn't going to happen, as Pittsburgh didn't want to move him inside the AFC, and I'm guessing nobody else even offered anything. So Kansas City walked away with Melvin
At this
Ingram.
point, I have to agree. Like, I feel like this is a steal for Kansas City. They got a guy who can still produce on the edge, which is not their strongest suit. They have a couple of decent defensive linemen who rush the passer, but Ingram is definitely an upgrade for them on one side of their defensive line. They only gave up a 6th-round pick to do it. It also tells me that organization does not believe that they're out of this year's playoff hunt. So they're definitely going to be boosting the morale in the locker room, because this is showing, that the front office still feels like this is a playoff team. So it's shown faith in their guys. They believe the roster they have put together can make the playoffs and make a run. So they're adding pieces and losing draft capital. To me, the move makes a ton of sense for Kansas City. A 6th-round pick, where's he going to get on the field on that team? More than likely not. Melvin Ingram instantly can come in and make an impact for your team. But that's my thoughts on that matter. It looks like nobody made an offer, obviously, because Pittsburgh was not trying to, or at least an NFC team didn't make a viable offer, because they were not trying to trade him in the AFC, as Matt alluded to. So a bit of a surprising move, but I think the bigger surprise was the other blockbuster trade that went down that everybody's heard about right now, and that's Von Miller to the Rams for a 2022 second and a 2022 third-round pick. What are your thoughts on the big Von Miller trade?
The Von Miller trade is huge. We had discussed this yesterday right after the trade had went down. The Rams are only going to pay $700,000 of the $9.7 due to Von Miller, which is why they more than likely gave up a 2 and 3 next year. Their idea is to keep Von Miller long term. Adding a pass rusher who's top 5, I believe, in hurries to go with the number 2 hurry guy in the league, and Aaron Donald. And you have your shutdown quarter and Jalen Ramsey. This team, you didn't think they could get better.
Ton of playmakers. Ton of playmakers.
You didn't think they could get better, and then all of a sudden they go and they trade for Von Miller, and now this team looks like it's 10 times better than what it was last week. It's really going to tell how good this team is once they step on the field and if they can gel together. If Von and Aaron Donald could get on the same page right away, this is a scary, scary front four. It takes a lot of pressure off Jalen Ramsey, which is scary for quarterbacks to think of, that a corner is going to be able to play so freely because he knows his front four is going to get home with Donald and Von, that he could maybe make a mistake here or there and try to go for the pick. And, now you got a little bit more of an aggressive Jalen Ramsey, who is already aggressive as it is. So I feel like this is going to help that defense so much more if they can gel. That's going to be my biggest watch for this team, is, can Von fit the Rams defense? If he fits the Rams defense the way that the Rams thought he would when they made this deal, this defense is scary.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. As you stated, Von Miller still playing at an elite level right now. And now you're giving him better pieces to work with even than what Denver has. And Denver had a good front with him too, but, they don't have Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald is a different type of player than pretty much any D lineman in the league. So, and I mean, they have generated a great pass rush all season. Now you're just adding another elite level pass rusher to this team. It makes them scary to me, even scarier than they were. You also have Leonard Floyd on that team, who gets home as well. And he's going to play the opposite end from Von Miller, so you're going to have both those guys on the same field at the same time. with the best pass rushing defensive tackle in the league and Aaron Donald in the center, they are going to generate a ton of pressure on the quarterback. It's going to allow Jalen Ramsey to play free, like you just said, even more than normal. He's going to be able to probably force some more turnovers than he even has been. The Rams are, as they tweeted out, definitely all in. The deal makes sense to me. They don't need draft capital right now. Their window to win a championship is now and for the next couple seasons. So for them to hold on to these picks to develop talent, where's that talent going to play on this team? They have elite players at every level of the ball on both sides of the ball. So the draft capital isn't necessary for them right now. They are trying to build a roster that can go win a championship. And guess what? If it doesn't work out and this team can't win a championship and they want to turn around and rebuild and get young again, they'll just turn around and trade all these guys away and get all these picks back. Could you imagine what an Aaron Donald fields on the market right now? If Von Miller's worth a 2 and a 3, they still have equity. They just don't have draft equity. If it doesn't work out, they're still going to be able to get return for these guys if they want to do a rebuild, but they're not in that mindset. They're all in, and they are one of the favorites in the NFL with this roster to win a title.
All right, so moving off of the trades, we're gonna keep it inside the signings, releases, injury reports. First injury report: Derrick Henry is out for the year. Possibly. He may be able to return for the playoffs. Soon as
6 weeks.
I don't see that. I don't see that happening. I could see him returning for the playoffs.
I think they'll hold him out a little longer than that. But it's been reported that there is a possibility he could be back as early as 6 weeks. It should only take as long as 9 weeks, but it could take longer, obviously, if there's any complications. So this is a huge blow to Tennessee, though.
Derrick Henry out, Adrian Peterson in. Yes, 500-year-old Adrian Peterson signed with the Tennessee Titans for the rest of the season. He will be the starting running back in Tennessee. New Orleans Saints wide receiver Michael Thomas will not touch the field this year. Not shocking. Nope. He is not happy to be there, and it's showing because he's finding every reason to not play. On the Michael Thomas injury yesterday before the trade deadline, the New Orleans Saints were trying to work out a deal with the Cleveland Browns for wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr. The deal fell through. There's reports today that Odell Beckham Jr. is not at Cleveland's practice, and there is a possibility that Cleveland will release Odell within the next week because nobody wanted to take on the $8.5 million before the trade deadline. So him being released could possibly see the idea of him in New Orleans maybe in the next 2 weeks. And this is all coming after Odell Beckham Sr. posted an 11-minute clip on, I believe, Instagram, pointing out every single time Baker Mayfield did not throw the ball to his son that was wide open on multiple plays. So it looks like we're going to have a little bit of trouble over in Cleveland. And I don't believe... Oh, last thing. We had Jameis Winston get hurt, tore his ACL. There's been reports by one person that there is a quarterback that is interested in playing in New Orleans, and that would be Mr. 39-year-old Phillip Rivers. So we could see two veterans that are over 37 between AP and Phillip Rivers both get contracts within the next 2 weeks. AP got his, maybe Phillip gets his, and they're back in the league ready to play. Going from them injuries to signings to possible release of Odell. Rob, is there anything else that I'm missing in the realm of roster moves?
No, that touches on all the roster moves. I will add something to the Odell piece. Stefanski was quoted as saying to his locker room that they are to treat it like Odell Beckham is not a part of the Cleveland Browns roster at this point. So that tells you where Cleveland's at with him. Everybody knows my stance on Odell. I've kind of talked about him, couple of weeks ago on the pod said that, the Eagles fans out there didn't have to worry about their pride and joy receiver Smith running into him at a Pro Bowl anytime soon because Odell ain't making one. Uh, his locker room attitude is terrible. I'm not really sure why Sean Payton's interested in this guy, to be honest with you. He has, I guess he still has talent left. I don't know. I haven't seen it in 3 years, so not really sure. But his attitude and his locker room presence are terrible. And if you really think in New Orleans you have a good team that can make a run with this 5-2 record that they have, I'm not sure why you're bringing a locker room cancer into your organization, but have fun with that. I'm glad that the Raiders aren't in on it, even with, everything with Henry Ruggs and him no longer being a part of the team and us needing a wide receiver. I wouldn't want Odell.
All right, so let's jump into our weekly power rankings.
Yep, this is a big one. This is pretty much the mid-year. It's kind of tough with 17 weeks, but this is the closest you can get to the mid-season power rankings. So
I know we haven't.
Which way you want to go this week?
I know we haven't talked with our power rankings, but I'll tell you this much. My power rankings this week have changed dramatically compared to last week.
Oh yeah, mine are very different looking.
We could go 10-1. I feel like that's the right way to go. I'll start off. Yep. I'll start off at 10.
Go ahead.
I have Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills.
Okie dokie.
Do you want?
You have the number 1 offense and number 1 defense at number 10. But sure, I'll hear you out on it.
All right, so I have the number 1 offense and the number 1 defense at number 10. They also have the best point differential at 120 points in the league. One thing that kind of scares me with this Buffalo team is a game last week against the Miami Dolphins. In the first half, we saw how much of an issue it was for Josh Allen not having a running back to be able to move the ball. And that was against a Miami Dolphins team that has struggled defensively this season. And for that to be, the big issue right now is not being able to move the ball that well, running the ball. I mean, they're averaging, what? The Titans are averaging, or not the Titans, I'm sorry. The Bills are averaging 4.4 yards a carry. So it's not like they're not averaging, decent numbers. The issue is that they're not running the ball. They've only attempted to run the ball 202 times. And they've had to lead for a lot of these games. So 202 times through 7 games is not a lot. To me, that's my biggest concern. You can't have a close game like that against Miami and be higher than 10 when there's 9 teams better than you right now.
Agree to disagree.
All right.
But that's fine. They're averaging like just almost 33 points a game.
32 and a half.
And that game last week, they played their worst football of the season for 3 quarters, and they still won 26-11. So, I mean, they still routed the Dolphins. They started off really slow, and they were playing poor football. I agree with that. But at number 10, I have a team moving into my power rankings that was not even on my list last week.
Can I guess?
Can
I guess?
Yeah, you're going to get it, too.
It's the New Orleans Saints.
No.
Oh.
It is not the New Orleans Saints. They have looked good. But with Jameis Winston going down, I don't. Simeon played good last week. I got to see him do it again before I can put him in my top 10 team with a backup quarterback.
I know who it is. It's the New York Jets.
My number 10 team is the New England Patriots.
Whoa. Mac Daddy?
Mac Daddy has looked good and impressed me early. The defense looks great. They still have Bill Belichick. They're now 4-4 after a rocky start. But Those were also Mac's first games, and he was making some stupid mistakes. He has not been making them the past few weeks. If he can continue to play this well, the defense is going to be the New England defense. It kind of always is. Bill Belichick always keeps it that way. They definitely have a shot in making the playoffs. They're actually only half game out right now of being the 7 seed in the playoffs. So if they can continue winning, they may be able to sneak into the playoffs. I don't think they're good enough to go to a Super Bowl by any means. That's why they're number 10. But I do think that they right now look like a playoff caliber team.
All right.
You want me to go on number 9 here?
At 9, I'll let you go first. We'll go back and forth today.
I got the Tennessee Titans.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
And they're only this low because of the Derrick Henry injury. If he was still healthy and on the team, they'd be much higher on my list this week. They have looked pretty impressive. Defense still needs to get it together a little bit, but that was a big win for them over Indianapolis. That kind of almost sealed them to win the division with 2 wins over Indy, and now Indy being just below 500. So, but I got to see them for a week or 2 without Derrick Henry before I could put him back towards the top half of the top 10 in the NFL. If Henry could come back for the playoffs, obviously that changes a lot for them. But right now, with the looks of no Derrick Henry, I got him at 9. Your number 9, Matt?
Is the Tennessee Titans. All for the same reasons.
Kinda.
I had Derrick Henry and these Tennessee Titans ranked 3rd last week. The injury to Derrick Henry dropped them all the way to 9th, even after a win against the Indianapolis Colts. The one thing that I've noticed when I was looking at over this team is that they don't even have 2,000 yards passing it this season. And losing pretty much your MVP in Derrick Henry and expecting Ryan Tannehill to carry this team is just not going to happen, because we saw Tannehill without Derrick Henry in Miami. Now, granted, it's a different team. It's kind of the same Tannehill still. He's got 11 touchdowns and 7 picks this season. You know, he's not very consistent this year. Having Julio Jones, who's not healthy, I guess you would say. He's on and off the field. Really, the big thing with them is kind of what you're saying, is you have to watch a week or 2, see how they play. You hope the defense steps up. The defense, has struggled a little bit. They do get the turnovers when needed. But can Adrian Peterson give you maybe 80, 90 yards? That might be enough for this Tennessee team. So that's where I'm saying with Tennessee. I have them 9. Like I said, I've dropped them from 3 to 9 based off of a Derrick Henry injury, and that's how important he is to that team. Going up to 8, I have the Baltimore Ravens.
Did you come over and look at my list?
Why? Do you have the Baltimore Ravens 8?
Because I also have the Baltimore Ravens. Yes, I do also have the Ravens 8.
All right, so with the Ravens, last week I had them sitting at 10. Moving them up to 8, coming off of a bye week, I don't feel like it was much they did to move up. I feel like the teams that were in front of them struggled a little bit, and Baltimore took the advantage of having that bye week and was able to move up in my power rankings. The big thing with Baltimore is, again, another team that doesn't have 2,000 passing yards through 7 games. Will Lamar be able to get it done when the games actually matter? And I'm not talking at the end of the regular season. I'm talking about in the playoffs. And that's one thing that Lamar has struggled with in the past. So if Lamar can get it done, the rest of this regular season, get them maybe the 2-3 seed. I don't see them getting the 1 seed. If he gets them to the 2-3 spot, Baltimore might be up a little bit higher on my list. But as of right now, I got them sitting at 8.
Yeah, I agree. I have them at 8. I had them at 10 last week. They moved up in front of a couple teams. And being that you guys see I put New England in, obviously a team has been bumped out too that they have gone in front of. So they took advantage of the bye week and some weird and poorer play this weekend from some of the top teams. I got them at 8. At 7, I have the Raiders.
Yay, we have somebody different.
Okay, I like that. Just so all the listener knows out there, by the way, me and Matt don't actually talk to each other about our power rankings until right now, so neither one of us knows who has what where. I have the Raiders just ahead of Baltimore. We did beat Baltimore earlier in the season, and like you said, Baltimore's past game has been okay, but not great this year. I want to see Lamar, maybe he's been dynamic, obviously, as always as a playmaker, but I want to see him throw a little bit more. Not much, to be honest. I do like the balance of their offense, but the Raiders, I'm keeping them right in front of them. They kind of moved up because some people moved out and back with their play this past weekend. I still think, I do believe we're a playoff team. But much like the Patriots in Baltimore, I don't think that they're going to quite compete for a Super Bowl. So that's where I'm at on my Raiders. Who do you have at 7 here, since we have different teams?
I have my reigning number 1 last week, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Losing to Trevor Siemian. Oh, hold on. That defense looked terrible last week, and it's pretty bad because the defense has looked good this year. I don't think it's a sign for concern. I just feel like right now with this Tampa Bay team, there are teams that are better than them offensively and defensively. It's not a knock on Tom Brady. I do feel that they don't run the ball enough, and eventually that's going to take a hit on Tom Brady, which, we're going to have a playoff scenario coming up later on in this pod. I'm going to explain on Tom Brady taking a hit. But I have Tampa at 7. I think if they run the ball maybe a little bit more, they're only averaging 95 yards on the ground, which seems like a lot, but it's also like 22nd in the league. So, yeah, you're leading the league in passing yards with a 45-year-old quarterback, but you're also towards the bottom tier of rushing yards a game. And like I said, the defense did not step up when I was expecting them to step up against Trevor Siemian, who technically is a third-string cornerback from New Orleans. So, that kind of scares me a little bit that a third-string corner could come in and rip apart your defense. And then Tom looked terrible on the last pass of the game. Well, not of the game, but the last pass to keep the game alive, where he threw the pick 6. It looked like he didn't even see the cornerback. So I moved Tampa all the way down from 1 to 7 after a week. It's possible for them to move back up. I'm not sold on them being 7th. With 6, I have your Raiders.
Okay.
I believe they were, just like Baltimore, a product of the bye week. They ended up having a bye. Tampa played poorly to me. Tennessee loses their best player. Buffalo, to me, didn't show that they were better than Las Vegas in my eyes. Cincinnati lost. So, to me, the Raiders have done everything correctly so far this season. I mean, besides the off-field shit. And Max Crosby, I feel like a lot of people don't realize how good of a defensive lineman Max Crosby is. And him with Ngakoue, they've been getting a lot of pressures throughout the whole season. And Derek Carr is doing his thing. So, to me, I actually feel like this is a Super Bowl contending team in the AFC. I'm not going to say they're going to get to the Super Bowl. I'm not going to say they're going to win the Super Bowl. But if I had to choose 3 AFC teams right now to be a favorite to play in the AFC Championship game, this Raiders team is probably in the top 3.
I don't disagree with that. That they have a shot if they continue to play this way. The defense has played so much better than I thought they had the personnel to do. The unsung hero of this Raiders defense this year has not even been Max Crosby. It's been Denzel Perryman at linebacker. He is leading the league in total tackles, and he is leading the league in run stuffs. he has caused us to be a much, much improved run defense. We have been terrible, especially at getting gashed with runs in between the tackles and up the gut over the past few years. He has come in and played great. The addition of KJ Wright has paid off. Has helped on the outside of the linebacking core, and as you stated, Crosby and Ngakoue have been doing their thing. Max Crosby is the most underrated defensive player in football. Nobody talks about this dude, but he has more pressures, I think, than anybody in the league right now. And he also has, I think, 6.5 or 7.5 sacks. He's doing his thing. Derek Carr has looked good. I agree with you on all that. I have it flip-flopped from you. I have Tampa Bay here. Their defense has looked absolutely terrible. I agree with you. But they are also really, really banged up in the secondary. Their first, 4 corners are hurt right now. So I don't even know what they're supposed to do on defense. They still have Tom Brady.
I can't blame the injuries, but, it's
Look,
still
I get
your
it.
team.
They lost to New Orleans, but the craziest thing about that Tom Brady pick? That is, in under 2 minutes in a 1-score game, that is the first time he's ever thrown an interception in that situation. Ever.
That's remarkable.
That's how good this dude. That's how good this dude is under pressure. That's why he can't go. I'm sorry, Derek Carr. You cannot be put in front of Tom Brady right now. When I think we do still have some issues. Kind of almost the opposite issues right now. Our defense look great. Our offense looks good, but I think we lack a big time weapon other than Darren Waller.
My issue with Vegas right now,
Tampa Bay has 100 weapons, so it's kind of hard to slow them down, and I think that would be the difference in that game, and that's kind of I looked at those two as very close, but I thought Tampa Bay would beat us in a game, so I put them above the Raiders.
My thing with Vegas, and I feel like this is what's stopping me from putting Vegas higher than 6, is that with the banged up Josh Jacobs, you guys have only had 600 rushing yards, I believe. And
the rush attack's been putrid without him.
If that rushing attack gets better to go along with Derek Carr, you're good.
If Jacobs can get healthy.
Yeah, if Jacobs is healthy, you guys are good.
Healthy, I'd move us up. I'd move us up. But for some reason, Kenyon Drake has not been really getting it done on the ground with us. He's been an excellent weapon out of the backfield catching the ball, which is most of what he got brought in to do. But with Josh Jacobs being down, I was hoping to see him step up and run the ball kind of like he did in, Arizona, and he hasn't shown me that yet. I agree. If Josh Jacobs is back, I think they're higher. But as of right now, they're not. So we're moving into the top half here. We're moving into number 5. This is where I have the Buffalo Bills. They, right now, to me, are the best team in the AFC. Number 1 offense in the league, number 1 defense in the league. Part of that's been the opponent, but this offense is kind of reminding me of, the Chiefs of the past couple years, where they look shaky at times, but then they just flip the switch and drop 30 on you. Which is kind of what they just did to the Dolphins last week. I mean, really, they played bad for 3 quarters, not even just the first half, and they still smoked a horrible Miami team, granted, but still did what they were supposed to do. Josh Allen is the best quarterback in the AFC right now, talent-wise, because Mahomes is struggling a little bit this year. So that's why they're my favorites. I can't take them out of the top 5 with what I've seen from them. Their pass rush is really good, and they have 7 guys that they rotate in and out to rush the passer that all have gotten home this year. So they're really deep, and I think they're built for a deep run and a run to the Super Bowl this year.
All right, at 5, I have the New Orleans Saints. For some reason, it doesn't matter who is their quarterback, they somehow win games. Literally. you or me could line up at quarterback right now, and the New Orleans Saints is going to find a way to win the game. The defense has been playing great. You know, their two big wins.
Top 5 in the league, I believe.
Their two big wins this year are against Green Bay, 38-3, and then against Tampa Bay, was it the final score 37 or 36-25? So, you know, against the two teams that you're going to end up seeing in the playoffs, more than likely, you handled your own. Now, granted, both of them games were at home, but Tom Brady's also 1-3 in the last two seasons against New Orleans. So the New Orleans defense has been playing really well, and I believe Sean Payton has come up with great game plan offensively to keep this team into games. And to me, I can't overlook that even with the Jameis Winston injury, because I believe Taysom Hill is the better quarterback. And if Taysom comes back, this team, I feel like the ceiling is so much higher if Taysom Hill comes back and he's able to perform at a high level, not dealing with a concussion injury. So, to me, I have the Saints at 5. I do believe that they could be higher. The one thing that kind of scares me with the New Orleans Saints team is the weapon standpoint. You know, the receivers are a bunch of, I guess you would say, low-name players that are making a name for themselves. And Kamara hasn't looked like Alvin Kamara of the past. I don't know if that has anything to do with Drew Brees or, you know, Kamara just taking a beating. And
Also, the fact that he's the main weapon on the field.
Yeah, he's taking a beating. So,
yeah, defenses are just keying on him. And somehow he's still being productive, by the way. It's not terrible. He's just not looking like a top 3 back right now.
At 4, would you like to go? Or you like me to go?
I could go at 4. At 4, I have the Arizona Cardinals.
Boo.
The roster's still talented, but the problem right now is they've played a couple bad games, obviously, but Kyler Murray is also a little banged up now after the Green Bay game. So that worries me a little bit. But, you know, being that there are only losses to, you know, Rodgers, I still got to keep them towards the top of the league. Ton of talent on both sides of the ball. So they could possibly be moving going forward. Also, side note, on your last round, the New Orleans Saints are not in my top 10.
Wow.
And it's only because of the quarterback situation and the lack of weapons. I know they got it done last week, but that was very much a defensive win. That defense is Tom Brady's kryptonite, it seems like. I need to see what they can do with a backup for another week before they can crack my top 10. So, yeah, I got Arizona 4. A little bit banged up. Kyler being banged up is big. And, you know, off that bad loss, I can't put him any higher than that. So that's where I got him slotted. Who do you have slotted in it for?
We are not them boys. The team that's going to lose in the first round of the playoffs. Dallas Cowboys.
Such a hater.
Come on. We know this. They haven't won a playoff game since 1940. The Dallas Cowboys are still top 5 to me. I still haven't had them crack the top 3. There's nothing to do with them being Dallas. They played well on Sunday against Minnesota without Dak, which hurts Dak's possible MVP run, in my opinion. But there was an injury late in the game to cornerback Trevon Diggs that if it's an injury that withholds him out of games for a few weeks, I feel like that's going to be bad for Dallas. You know, they still haven't cleared Dak. I know there's been talks that he's going to possibly play this week. You know, you beat a Minnesota Vikings team with Cooper Rush. I mean,
Minnesota's not that bad of a team.
I'm not going to move you up on it. And, you know, it's still the big thing that kills me with Dallas is the penalties. You know, they get the turnovers. They have penalties. You know, the penalties saved them from being possibly 3-5 instead of 6-1 or 3-4, whatever the hell it would have been.
Okay. Who do you have as number 3?
All right, so at 3 I have the Arizona Cardinals. This is where I had the issue with 3 and 4. You know, I did sit down and think about, does Dallas crack Arizona now with an Arizona loss? And I can't do that to Arizona because if AJ Green decided to look the correct way, we might not be talking Green Bay. So, you know, it was all of a look. It's not like Green Bay went out there and completely ripped Arizona in the shreds. Arizona stayed with them. You know, Green Bay made that Arizona offense look like it wasn't as powerful as it was in the past, which is one of the reasons why Green Bay hasn't been mentioned in my power rankings. But, you know, Arizona, I still feel they have a shot in the NFC. I feel like they're the third best team in the NFC. And one loss to a Green Bay Packers team with Aaron Rodgers and Matt LaFleur putting in his play style of wanting to run the ball and take the ball out of Murray's hands, you know, and I said that on the pod last week. You got to keep the ball out of Murray's hands. You got to run the ball. Aaron Rodgers will get it done. Aaron Rodgers got it done. So I just feel, to me, I couldn't move Zona down off the loss that was kind of, in my eyes, written already. It's not like they got slacked. They went out there, they played a game. So I moved them down to 3. They're the third best team in the NFC.
They didn't get slapped, but they also barely hung with a Green Bay team without its top 3 receivers. That's the only reason I have them as the 4th ranked team in the NFC, because my top 4 is all NFC teams right now. At 3, I have a team that you had just behind them in the Dallas Cowboys. I don't know why I do, but I do. That was a really impressive win to me, to win with your backup against that Vikings team. The Vikings team has not been great, but they're not that bad that they should lose to a backup quarterback. Dallas has playmakers everywhere. They have playmakers in the backfield. They have playmakers at wide receiver. They have playmakers on defense at multiple levels, at linebacker, at corner. Their line's been playing well. They have a pretty complete roster right now. The Dak injury scares me a little bit, but I think they're more just trying to rest his leg because it was starting to bug him. As you said, if Diggs is out, it could affect me more, but I haven't seen anything saying he's out for anything long-term yet, so I still have him at 3. At number 2, I have the team that I believe is even better than them, and that is the Green Bay Packers.
What the fuck?
I was going to put the Packers... I was going to put them 1, but...
Let me guess. Von Miller swayed you to 1. Von Miller swayed his way into number 1 with the Los Angeles Rams. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. You hear this, fans? Just go buy Robbie an ice cream bar, and he'll move you from 2 to 1 just because you bought him an ice cream bar.
Get that win against a very good team. Very good team in Arizona. He gets a win without his top 3 receivers. The defense in Green Bay looks fantastic right now. After that game, I mean, they played Arizona so physical. It looked like almost a completely different defense. I said that they needed to step up to get a win, and that's exactly what they did. So, a lot of praise to Green Bay. If you didn't have the stuff going on with Rodgers right now, maybe you'd be number 1.
So, I want to get this straight. If I go to the store right now and I buy you a lollipop, and I'm number 2 on your power rankings, do I go to number 1?
No.
Because the Los Angeles Rams went out and bought a lollipop, and they moved from number, I don't even know you had them last week, to number 1.
I had them at 3.
All right, so they got a lollipop and went 3 to 1. Oh, man. All All right, so I had, if you can't tell, I have the Rams at 2. And you have the Rams at 1.
I don't necessarily disagree with you. Originally yesterday when I wrote it down, I had Green Bay 1, the Rams 2. With Rodgers going out with COVID, I swapped it before the show.
All right, so power ranking wise, I got to keep Green Bay 1. You know,
mind you, by the way, I had Green Bay 6 last week, so I'm still showing them love. I moved them up a lot.
All right, so as of right now,
I moved you up a lot.
What I'm saying is with Green Bay, as of right now, through the 9 weeks or 8 weeks, whatever, 9 weeks, through the 9 weeks, Green Bay's been the best team in football. That's where my power ranking is with Green Bay. Why I have them at 1. Do I think that's going to change with the coronavirus dealing with Aaron Rodgers? Yes, I do believe that that Green Bay will drop from 1. Probably we'll see him around 4 or 5, maybe 6, depending on how bad the game is on Sunday. But this Green Bay team has been the best team in football by far. You know, they probably have the best key wins. I mean, they beat Cincinnati in overtime. I know they've beaten Arizona now. So they're not getting the lollipop wins that a lot of these teams in the top 10 are. Now, that's not an excuse for anybody inside the top 10. You know, you play what the schedule gives you. But to me, I feel like Green Bay's been the best team through the 9 weeks. Aaron Rodgers, to me, is the MVP right now. He's got this team chiming. I believe Matt LaFleur is the coach of the year right now for getting this team to buy in, especially when Aaron Rodgers wasn't even here in training camp. You know, the Rams team, going back and forth between 1 and 2 here. You know, the Rams team, I have it 2. The addition of Von Miller, I do believe, helps that defense. You know, we've had that discussion. I think that's going to help not only the defense in general, but I believe it's going to help their 2 key players in Aaron Donald and in Jalen Ramsey. I love what they've been doing. Stafford and Cooper Kupp, you know, Robert Woods is getting involved. The Rams are a very good team. But
they also have Van Jefferson, by the way.
The Rams also let Houston score 22 unanswered on Sunday. I got nervous.
Come on, bro. They're playing prevent defense. It happens all the time, dude. Teams get a bunch of garbage time points after getting smoked. Literally happens every week.
It didn't happen with the Eagles.
It's half of your Eagles' points previous to that last game, damn it.
No, but I have the Packers 1. I have the Rams 2. You can flip-flop them like you have. Like I said, to me, I had them at 1 because of what Rodgers and LaFleur has done up to now. You know, my power rankings changed literally from 10 to 1. You know, I have Baltimore sitting at 8 because I don't like Lamar in the playoffs, but I got Green Bay sitting at 1 because Aaron Rodgers has played great through 9 weeks. So I kind of take in the perspective of each team by each certain aspect.
I noticed we also moved the same team off of our top 10 list.
That would be the Cincinnati Bengals, who decided that they were going to lose to the New York Jets.
The Cincinnati Bengals that had looked so good decided to look like the Cincinnati Bungles of old and get beat by the damn Jets with their backup quarterback, who might be their starting quarterback going forward. They've already announced a QB competition opening between these two guys, which I find hilarious because I said Zach Wilson was going to stink, and he has, because he's on the Jets, and it's a terrible organization. But with that, our top 10s are complete here, which feels like it makes it the appropriate time to move over to the Week 9 playoff picture.
Oh, I got a question for for the Week 9 playoff picture. Are we picking to the Super Bowl?
No.
Wow!
I mean, we can. I can do that easy, but we're going to tell you who's in the 7 spots right now, and then highlight the first week matchups for sure. We're going to go all the way to the Super Bowl. So
I'm getting excited. Super Bowl's close.
First, I think we should just, list off each side who's in the 7 slot. So I'll start on the AFC side. Right now, the Tennessee Titans are the 1 seed and would receive the bye of the first round. 2 is my Las Vegas Raiders. The 3 seed is the Baltimore Ravens. 4 is Buffalo. 5 is the Cincinnati Bengals. 6 somehow is the Pittsburgh Steelers. And 7 is the Chargers on the AFC side. So, Matt, tell the people what the NFC playoff picture looks like right now.
All right, so on the NFC side, the number 1 seed belongs to Coach of the Year and MVP Green Bay Packers, Aaron Rodgers and Matt LaFleur. Number 2, we got the Arizona Cardinals. 3, we have the Dallas Cowboys. 4, we have Tampa Bay. 5 is the Rams. 6 is the Saints. And 7 is the Panthers. Yuck.
Yeah. The Panthers are below 500 by 1 game as the worst team on that side. The worst team on the AFC side is the Chargers. As I said, they're 4-3. So they're just above 500. That's what the playoff picture looks like right now. So, like we said, the 1 seeds will be getting byes in the first round. So Tennessee right now and Green Bay would have the bye if the season ended today. The 2 seed on the AFC side, the Las Vegas Raiders, would be at home against division rival, the 7 seed Los Angeles Chargers. Who would you take in that game, Matt?
I got Las Vegas.
I agree with you. I think Las Vegas handles it at home the way they're playing right now and would move on. The 3 seed Baltimore Ravens would take on their division rival, the Pittsburgh Steelers, in Baltimore, where I believe Baltimore would beat Pittsburgh by 10 plus.
I agree.
And then you have the 4 seed Buffalo Bills at home against the Cincinnati Bengals. Matt, who would you take?
It's Buffalo.
I would take Buffalo, and I think it's a 2-score game. So with that, we would have Las Vegas moving on, Baltimore moving on, and Buffalo moving on. We would have all the top seeds moving on, both of us. And then obviously Tennessee is already in via the bye. So on the first round of the NFC side, what do our matchups look like?
All right, so we got the 2 versus 7. We got Carolina traveling to Arizona. What do you got?
Arizona, easy game for them.
Completely agree with you. I would not even question this game. All right, so moving on, we got the 6 seed New Orleans Saints traveling to Dallas to play the Cowboys. What do we got?
Right now, I would have to take Dallas. New Orleans with a backup quarterback. I think that's a real tough ask to travel to Jerry World and try and knock Dallas out.
All right, I got you there. I agree. So then, in the last matchup, of the first round, I got the 5 seed Los Angeles Rams traveling to Tampa Bay to play Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Tom Brady. What do you got?
I got the Rams winning.
I do too.
That's the upset that I have in the first round, is the Rams would knock out Tampa Bay.
Completely agree with you.
All right. So then at that point, on the AFC side, your second round matchups, it would be the Titans hosting the Buffalo Bills. Who do you have taken that game, Matt?
I got Buffalo.
Okay. I would agree with you. I got Buffalo without Derrick Henry, which
now healthy Derrick Henry
healthy Derrick Henry. I think it's a close game. I think I'd still go Buffalo just because I trust Josh Allen more than Tannehill, and I don't think Tennessee has a good enough defense to stop Josh Allen from slinging the ball around.
Got the big one coming up.
But, the other matchup in round 2 would be the Las Vegas Raiders hosting the Baltimore Ravens. I'm going to let you pick this one first.
I got the Raiders. I
Going to
got the Raiders going to the AFC Conference Championship game to host.
I'm going to be a real homer. I'm going to go Raiders, too. I don't even care what people think. I'm going homer here. So, in the NFC second round, who do we got going at each other?
So, we got the number 5 seed, Los Angeles Rams, traveling to Green Bay. What do we got?
Ooh. Man, first of all, what a game.
Correct.
I would love to get to see that in the playoffs this year, especially both teams healthy, both starting quarterbacks in, 2 great young coaches going at it. I'm gonna take the Rams.
God
today.
Damn it! I got the Rams as well.
Yeah, I just don't know that Green Bay has a good enough offensive line to handle the pass rush that the Rams have now.
And then in the second game, we got number 3 seeded Dallas going to Arizona to play the Cardinals.
Ooh. Give me the... Ooh, man. Give me the Cowboys.
I got Arizona. I got Big Zona. Kyler Murray. All right, so we got 2 different NFC Conference Championship pictures now. So, Rob, you got the number 5 seed or the number 3 seed Dallas Cowboys hosting the Los Angeles Rams to go to the Super Bowl. We'll stay on the NFC side. Dallas or the Rams?
Matt Stafford gets it done on the road and takes the Rams to the Super Bowl.
All right, so I have
the Rams are my 1 seed for a reason.
I have the Arizona Cardinals hosting the Los Angeles Rams for a Super Bowl trip.
Another great game.
I got
a rematch too, by the way.
It'd be the 3rd time they played.
It'll be the 3rd time they played, and right now the Cardinals have a big win over the Rams.
I have Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals going to the Super Bowl.
Okay. Hey, I don't necessarily disagree. They have the ability to get there.
So what do we got on the AFC side to play
on? The AFC side, we both have the same matchup. We have the Las Vegas Raiders hosting the AFC Championship game against Josh Allen, McDermott, and the Buffalo Bills. So, I'm the homer here. I'm going to take the cowardly backseat and make you go first.
I'm taking Buffalo. I got Josh Allen going to the Super Bowl. We're going to see Buffalo lose. I mean, we're going to see Buffalo go to the Super Bowl.
I agree. There's a reason why I have Buffalo above Vegas in my power rankings. I said earlier that I believe that right now they're the best team in the AFC. I firmly do believe that. They are one of the best teams in football. They haven't played great at times, but that roster has a ton of talent. Josh Allen's taking the Buffalo Bills to the Super Bowl. Let's see if he can break their Super Bowl curse. So I have the Bills and the Rams in the Super Bowl, and you have the Bills and the Cardinals in the Super Bowl.
Correct.
So you have 2 young quarterbacks getting in the Super Bowl here in the matchup of Kyler Murray and the Cardinals versus Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills in the Super Bowl. Who comes out on top?
I got Arizona and Kyler Murray.
Okay. I have the Rams in Buffalo, and I think if it was ended today, the Rams win the Super Bowl. They beat Buffalo. They're just a little bit more of a complete team than Buffalo. They have a better running attack than Buffalo, I think. Just more talent in the backfield. And I just think Matt Stafford's getting it done this year. And he's going to show even more that he wasted his career playing as a Detroit Lion.
I agree with you. All right, so you got Rams winning the Super Bowl as of today. I got the Cardinals winning the Super Bowl as of today. We got some big matchups that would have happened, which would have been nice to see. Possibly we end up getting to see it. It's still early, so let's hope for the matchups we got to play with and possibly get to see in real life. So that sums up our playoff Super Bowl run of mid-season. Jumping from that, we're gonna get into these NFL bets as we did last week.
Yes, sir. Seemed to be what you guys were the most interested in last week from the clips we broke out. So we appreciate y'all listening into this stuff. I think, we should start it off with the Thursday night matchup, Matt. We got the Jets at the Colts. The Colts are a 10.5-point favorite on the Jets at home.
The Colts are at home?
Colts are at home. And they're a 10.5-point favorite over the Jets. And White Lightning.
All right, so Thursday night game, you get me already with 10.5. I'm going to go Indy covering the 10.5. Covering the 10.5. I like the minus 10.5.
I actually agree with you. I think the Jets are going to come back down to earth a little bit, and White Lightning is going to come back down to earth a little bit. It's usually what happens with backup quarterbacks. And I just think the Colts have a better roster. They don't have a great record right now, but they have been a pretty good team the past few weeks. Obviously, they couldn't get it done against Tennessee, which hurt them for the season, I think, but they're better than the Jets by a lot. So another game that's, again, just two terrible teams. You got the Houston Texans traveling to Miami to play the Dolphins. The Dolphins are a 6.5-point favorite over Houston. You couldn't pay me to touch this game, but what are your thoughts on it, Matt?
You know what? I'm gonna take Houston plus 6.5, and Houston wins this game.
Okay. I think these are two of the worst teams in the NFL, so you really never know what the heck's going to happen. But I think I would say Houston covers, Miami wins. You're going money line. Next up, we got the Denver Broncos, a Von Miller-less Broncos team, traveling to Dallas to play the Cowboys. Cowboys are at home and favored by 9.5.
Today with Cooper Rush, I'm taking Denver plus 9.5. If Dak's playing, Dallas minus 9.5.
I 100% agree with that sentiment. I'm looking to see the injury thing on that, but that's one I'm kind of staying away from because of that quarterback situation, because I think as soon as it's actually announced, that line's going to change further Dallas's way if it's Dak, and kind of stay the same if it's Cooper Rush, and lock people into that bet that thought Dak was playing. So moving on, another huge line this weekend. You got Buffalo traveling to Jacksonville to take on the Jaguars. Buffalo on the road is favored at 14.5.
Buffalo covered the 14.5 last week against the Dolphins at the very end. You know what? I'm gonna go Buffalo minus the 14.5 this week. I went against them last week. I'll go with them this week.
I agree. I think Buffalo steamrolls them like they've pretty much been steamrolling everybody this year for the most part, other than a couple multiple losses. It seems like every time they win by like 10 plus. So it's no question why the line's this high. I don't like big lines like this, but I do think Buffalo's going to cover. You got Atlanta traveling to a hot New Orleans team. This is Atlanta without their receiver as well, who stepped away from football this week in Calvin Ridley. So I don't know what Atlanta's going to be able to do. My thoughts here are go New Orleans minus the 6. I think they'll win and cover that.
It's interesting, the -6. I feel like it's kind of like a Dak thing. Who's my quarterback? Is it Taysom or is it Trevor? And I feel like if I'm making that bet, I'm waiting until Sunday morning to parlay that. I do, like I've said, I do really like the New Orleans defense, but you know it's -6. And if it's Trevor Siemian,
I just think Atlanta without Calvin Ridley, who's going to kill me?
Kyle Pitts.
Maybe. But New Orleans has good safety play and good linebacking play. They can cover Kyle Pitts. Nobody on Atlanta scares me anymore without Calvin Ridley.
I'll take Atlanta +6.
Okay. That's a tough game to call either way. I would actually go like I said, the opposite, but that's going to be a weird one with all the stuff injury-wise going on with both of those squads. Next game we're going to get into is the Vikings traveling to Baltimore. Baltimore's favored at home by 6. Who do you have there?
Baltimore favored by 6. I'm going Minnesota +6.
I am going to go Baltimore -6 here. Just think they're a better team than Minnesota right now. Minnesota's been hot and cold too, so this one I'm staying away from personally this weekend because I don't know which Viking team is showing up on a given week. Is it the one that plays with anybody in the league, or is it the one that looks like they're one of the worst teams in the league? Seems to change every week this year. So another weird game to bet right now is Green Bay at Kansas City. Last I saw when I put this together, the Kansas City was favored at home by 7.5. I don't know if that line's changed anymore with bets coming in with Rodgers going out,
8.
but okay, so it moved another half a point.
Yes.
So now Green Bay's an 8-point dog on the road at Kansas City without Rodgers. I got Green Bay +8. Still don't think Kansas City's good enough to cover, even with Jordan Love playing.
This is going to be.
They'll win, but they won't cover.
So I made a statement that Dak is no longer in the MVP running because of Cooper Rush, and Cooper winning the game against Minnesota, and it's showing how good that Dallas team is. Is this game in Kansas City?
Yeah, the Chiefs are at home.
I might drop my balls right now and say Jordan Love's gonna win this game by 6.
I mean, it's possible, dude. Like I said, I'd take Green Bay +8. I do think Kansas City will catch a win here against the backup, but I don't think they're going to cover a 7.5 point or 8-point spread, whatever you can get it at.
All right, so I'll do my first alternative spread of the show, and I'm going to go Green Bay Packers -6.
Okay. At our 8th game here, we got the Patriots traveling to Carolina to play the Panthers. Patriots are the favorite on the road at 3.5.
It's Patriots -3.5. I mean, you could alternate spread this. You could alternate spread this and probably get
what, -5,
-5.5, -6.
Yeah, I would probably go about that far as well. I think New England's clearly a better team right now than Carolina. Sam Darnold has regressed horribly since early in the season, so I don't think this is going to be a real nail biter here for the Patriots. I think they'll win by pretty much a touchdown.
Yeah.
So we got the Cleveland Browns traveling to Cincinnati to play the Bengals. Bengals coming off a terrible loss. Cleveland, all kinds of injuries all over their offense. Right now, Cincinnati's favored by only by 2.5 at home. This is a weird game, but I'm gonna go Cincinnati minus the 2.5. I think Cleveland's too banged up, and I think Cincinnati got embarrassed last week, and they're gonna come out swinging this week against a divisional opponent. So I would go Bengals minus the 2.5. I might even go Bengals up to -5. I think they win by a touchdown.
I'll throw in another alternative spread here, and this is one that I'm actually probably going to bet. And I'm going to say Cincinnati minus 9.5. With everything coming out of Cleveland on top of the injuries, and then Cincinnati getting beat by the Jets, this Cincinnati team is going to go home and play a drama-filled, injury-filled roster in Cleveland who just got their ass handed to them by Pittsburgh last week. Yeah, I'm taking Cincinnati minus 9.5.
Yeah, I agree. Cincinnati, like I said, I think they're by a touchdown. You're a little even higher than that. So we're both on the Bengals for that game. We got another divisional matchup. You got Arizona traveling to San Francisco. Arizona's the favorite, but only a -1 favorite this week. This is a game I'm actually staying away from because Kyler's a little banged up, and I don't know how banged up. I'm pretty sure he's going to play, but is he 100%, and does that affect him? You know, San Francisco hasn't been great this year, but they're not terrible. There's a reason why this is only a 1-point line. Obviously, Vegas doesn't think this is that different. At that point, it's a pick'em game, kind of. So I'd stay away from it, but if I had to bet it, I guess I'd probably go Arizona -1. They win. I would say that if they win by a field goal.
I'm not going to change the spread on this. I'm just going to take Arizona -1. I do believe that you could probably get Zona -5.5, even without Kyler playing.
Yeah, it's possible. The fact that Vegas has it as a 1-point line kind of, I don't like those pick'em style games. But yeah, I would take Arizona -1, and if you're gonna do that, you might as well parlay it with an Arizona money line because obviously you're saying that they're gonna win at that point. Moving on, we got the Las Vegas Raiders traveling to New York to take on the Giants. The Raiders are favorited 3 points on the road, so they're a field goal favorite in New York. Who do you like?
I like the Raiders by a lot more than 3.
I agree. I think it's kind of a fucking slap in the face to the Raiders by Vegas to say that you're only a 3-point favorite against the Giants right now. I'll take the Raiders money line. I'll take the Raiders -3. I'll take the Raiders -6, maybe even -7. That's where I'm at on that game.
I agree 100% with everything you just said.
Yeah. So then we got your team, the Philadelphia Eagles, at home, taking on the visiting Chargers and Justin Herbert, who are favored, but only by a 1.5 against the Eagles in Philly.
Jesus. Sirianni method. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. All right, I got the Chargers. even the minus the 1.5, you could probably get the Chargers up to minus 5.5. To be honest with you, they ran the ball real well last week, and they kept the ball out of Jalen's hands, and that's really what made a difference in that team. And I don't know how much more Sirianni's going to do that, especially because Halfrey, as John Ritchie likes to say on 94.1, wants to pass the ball. So to me, I gotta go Chargers minus 5.5.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Chargers. I'd go up to minus 3.5. I think they win, but it's close. The Chargers haven't looked good the past couple weeks, so that's why this line is so close, because they haven't looked much better than the Eagles the past few weeks. So the next game we're going to get into is Sunday Night Football. It's the last game on Sunday that we haven't covered, and this is the Derrick Henry-less Tennessee Titans traveling to Los Angeles to take on the Rams and newly acquired Von Miller. The Rams are a favorite at home at 7.5 points. I'm going to just be frank. I got the Rams here. I think they probably win by 10 on Tennessee without Derrick Henry. But I would just keep it where it's at. Take Rams minus 7.5. What are your thoughts?
Take Rams minus 7.5, and I wouldn't be scared to push to 13.5.
Yeah, I'd also like to just shout out a prop bet I'm probably taking this weekend, which is Von Miller to get a sack in this game. I just feel like he's going to come out and show up and make an instant impact.
Another prop bet within this game: Cooper Kupp to score a touchdown. He's already got 10.
It's ridiculous what he's doing this year. He's on pace to break like every receiving record for a single season right now. Matthew Stafford is winging the ball to that dude. So the last game this weekend is Monday Night Football, and in a barn burner, we got the Chicago Bears traveling to Pittsburgh to take on them Steelers, who are favored at home by 6.5 over the Bears. Who do you like in that one, Matt?
The way the Bears looked on Sunday against the San Francisco 49ers, who are a better team than the Pittsburgh Steelers, I may have to take the Bears with that 6.5. So I'm going to say Bears 6.5.
Yeah, I would take Chicago plus 6.5. I don't know that they win, but I think they can keep it closer than a touchdown. So, yeah, I agree. Chicago plus the 6.5. I wouldn't necessarily say that they're going to win. I still think Pittsburgh probably takes it at home, but you never know. With that wraps up all the Week 9 matchups and the betting here. I want to just thank all y'all for listening. Thank my co-host Matt for joining, and I would definitely ride on his bed. He was a little cold last week, but he's been hot this season. We look into this stuff. He knows what he's talking about. So,
oh, you're too kind. I suck at this shit.
Not this year, bud.
Real quick before we end the show, I do want to point out two big things that could sway some of these lines. Christian McCaffrey is practicing today, and he is eligible to come off injured reserve. Also, Saquon Barkley has to pass 2 negative tests to be able to play against the Raiders on Sunday. So Saquon and Christian McCaffrey may be returning on Sunday.
Yeah, that is big news for both of those teams because Carolina looked drastically different. When Sam Darnold was playing well, it was when he had healthy Christian McCaffrey. So that could make a big difference in that game.
So, with that, I have nothing else to conclude with our weekly NFL show. Rob, do you have anything else you want to throw in there?
Me neither, but
all right,
I think we covered it all.
You want to drop it? You want to drop it?
I think I'll do the honors, sir. With that, Philly Frenzy out.